Have you ever wanted to go on a heartfelt journey in the lives of your loved ones and newfound acquaintances? Do you enjoy listening and engaging in uplifting discussions that leave you motivated and inspired to take action in your own life? This podcast is a space where we have in-depth conversations on family, health, spirituality, entrepreneurship, and well, just plain old life. I'm Jesse DeLeon, and this is my passion. Join me on a walk into the fascinating narratives and meaningful conversations that shape our experiences. Welcome to The Knowing, a Life and Stories podcast. Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the show. So happy to be here with you and happy that you're here with me. I just want to say that Christmas came early for me this past weekend. I had my son and his husband here visiting for the weekend. They hadn't been here for a long time. So I say my son because from the moment I met Taylor and his sister Mackenzie, they became my children. And I felt their love. I felt that they were my spiritual children, a gift from God from the moment I met them. And I oftentimes wondered how do step parents or parents who adopt, how do they come to see those children as their own children? The bond is just as strong as a biological bond. I didn't understand it, but I would see it. And it wasn't until I met Taylor and Mackenzie, my ex-partner's children, that I instantly felt, it was like a charge that instantly hit my heart that God placed them in my life. And so Taylor was here this weekend with his husband, and I cannot tell you how beautiful the weekend was. We laughed, we told stories, we cried, we made amends for things in the past. We apologized. We just really just enjoyed each other's company. And I told them, I feel like this is Christmas for me. And like all parents, all relationships rather, parents and their children, friends, siblings, spouses, we all have those hiccups, those moments where we have fallen outs and we get crossed with one another. And, Taylor and I, had a moment that we got crossed with one another and we didn't, we didn't speak, for quite some time. But you know what I did? I wanted him to know that throughout the time we were not connecting and speaking, that I was thinking of him, that I was praying for him, that he was in my thoughts and in my heart, in my mind. And I would send him a text every now and then, just on holidays, his birthday, just whenever he'd come into my mind, I would send him a little text. For quite some time, Taylor wouldn't respond to my text messages. And I never gave up. That's how much I loved Taylor and his sister Mackenzie. And it was just something weird that happened. And almost, it's one of those things that you can be upset with someone and then that time goes by and you wondered what you were upset about to begin with. And so that's what happened with me. We just didn't even really know what had transpired, but over time, things got better. When you hurt someone's feelings, and you don't acknowledge it and you don't make amends with it and with them, there's a lot of hurt and a lot of mistrust that happens in those times. So I just want to come to you and say, if you're having a challenge in a relationship right now with someone that is meaningful and important to you, don't let it go too long. And if it does go long, continue to reach out, even if they're not reaching out, reaching back to you. When Taylor was here this weekend, we had a time to really talk about in great detail those times. And Taylor apologized to me for the things he might have said, things he might have done or didn't do or didn't say. And I was able to apologize to him too for however I might have hurt him, because when you hurt someone, it breaks the bond of trust. And when the bond of trust is broken, it's very hard to recapture that trust. And the only way by which to do this is to just go to that person and just say, I am so sorry and I love you. And only in that way can we start to forge and build back the bond of trust. And it can be rebuilt. We just can't give up. And so there are so many people, so many parents and their children and friends and family members who have stopped talking. They've stopped connecting because of something that was said, and so long ago that we can't even remember what it was. Like I said, happened for me and Taylor. And in fact, Taylor said, oh, I want to apologize to you for when I spoke to you and the way I spoke to you. And I said, you've never spoken to me rudely. In fact, it was, the only time that I remember is, you and your dad were having a disagreement, and I interjected, and you just politely said, Jesse, this is not about you. It's between me and my dad. So would you please stay out of it? And I did, but I don't remember any other time. And he says, oh, remember that time we were in Colorado skiing, and you and dad were having a disagreement and I got involved and I said something unkind to you. I said, oh my goodness. Do you know that I don't even remember that? See, I didn't remember, but he remembered. And see, it's important for him that he made the amends. And I so lovingly, so gladly received his apology. And folks, that's what we need to do. I mean, that is what we're called to do. Is God wants us to in our humanity, know that we're going to mess up, know that we're going to make mistakes, know that we're imperfect. And in that imperfection is where we find our true selves, the self that people come to know, the self that people come to trust, the self that we come to trust within ourselves. God is so good because he gives us those perfect opportunities to make amends. And, we're going to mess up. We're going to screw things up sometimes. But the beauty in our relationship with God is that God is so forgiving, and we're called to be forgiving as well. I don't know about all faiths, and I don't know the depths of all faiths, but I will say this about my faith, about being a Catholic. And again, I am never trying to convert you into becoming Catholic in any way. I respect where you are. I respect your faith. And I know that we all love the same God. And so we're all brothers and sisters. And I'm going to say it again. I take this from Father Mike Schmitz. And if you've not listened to Father Mike Schmitz, I would Google him. He is an amazing human. And he says, it is not us against them. It's not them against us. It's us. We're all one big family. Doesn't matter the color, the creed, the religion that we are. So in the Catholic faith, we have confession, and confession could seem scary if you don't understand it. But when we can see confession as a sacrament, the sacrament that allows us to be redeemed and to be forgiven. So I once asked my priest, why is it that I still feel, I still can't forgive myself even after confession? And he says, oh, well, that's because in our humanity, our ego, our pride wants to dictate and control that which has already been put aside, has been forgotten. So when you go into the confession and you confess to you're not confessing to the priest, you're really confessing to God. So once you do, and you're forgiven, you're absolved of the sin, for God, it is forgotten. It is water under the bridge. And that is what my priest said. And when he explained it to me that way, if God can forgive us, then who are we not to forgive ourselves? Right? We're not meant to hold on to that shame and guilt. So a lot of folks have this idea that, Catholics are brought up to feel shame and guilt, and that's what we're meant to carry, that cross, to carry that. It's not that way. There have been times throughout history where the church has failed us. The church has failed itself. And those were one of those times where the church, the Catholic Church, made us feel ashamed and to feel guilty, or to feel guilt. But that is not what they're teaching. So I just want to be very clear about that. And the reason I'm going into some detail with you about this, it's because I've learned how to forgive myself. I've learned how to forgive others, how to let go of the ego and the pride. And it's that kind of stuff, guys. It's those things that keep us stuck. And it's that stuff that kept me and Taylor stuck. And not just me and Taylor, but me and other people in my life. But when I say to you how overfilled with joy I am that I have my son back, and that he loves me and I love him, and where he's not my biological son, he is my son. God gave him to me. God gave me Mackenzie. She's my daughter. And to have them call me dad, it is the most joyful, most prideful feeling. And I can't explain it, but all I can say is, you know how it feels when you wake up Christmas morning and you see those gifts and your loved ones there with you, and that joy and that excitement that you feel, that is what it feels like. So, so cut yourself some slack, cut others some slack, and let's be forgiving. Let's never give up. Never give up. I didn't give up on Taylor, and now when we talked this weekend, he said, Jess, I got your text messages, and though I did not respond, I want to tell you, every single text message meant something to me. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for always being there. And thank you for helping me to feel safe. And thank you for helping me to rebuild trust and to trust. So let's learn to trust again, guys. We're the only ones that are hurt by it when we don't. We're the only ones that lose beautiful moments when we don't trust. So with that, I'm leaving you with the thought of how important it is to never give up on love. So until next time, I love you guys. Thank you for praying for me, and I will continue to pray for y'all.